Crewneck T-shirt. A crewneck T-shirt is a shirt with a round neckline that fits closely around the base of the neck. It has no collar, giving it a clean and simple look. Because of its comfort and versatility, the crewneck T-shirt has become a basic item in many people's wardrobes, suitable for both casual and slightly dressier occasions. The crewneck T-shirt originated in the 19th century, worn by sailors and boatmen who needed a comfortable and practical garment. The name crewneck comes from the crews of ships who favored this style. In the early 1900s, the U.S. Navy adopted the crewneck T-shirt as part of its uniform, calling it the gob shirt. Later, in the 1930s, American football players used specially designed crewneck T-shirts to absorb sweat and prevent chafing from shoulder pads. V-neck T-shirt. V-necks are practical undershirts that are worn to hide the collar fabric when other shirts are layered on top of them. As T-shirts have become more acceptable for everyday wear, V-necks are worn on their own for a more sculpted, modish alternative to the classic T-shirt. Since the inception of the V-neck T-shirt in the 1960s, it has become a trendy choice of T-shirt for both men and women. At the end of the Second World War and the Korean War, fashion exploded as the United States were moving away from rations and shortages. The fashion industry boom sparked investment in new designs, cuts, and colors. The birth of the V-neck was the perfect variation to the traditional T-shirt. Henley T-shirt. It looks like a crewneck at first glance, but has a short placket with 2 or 3 buttons running down from the collar, stopping well before the chest. There is no full collar, just that small buttoned opening. The name comes from Henley-on-Thames, a town in England associated with rowing, where this style was worn by athletes in the 19th century. It carries a quiet, understated quality that makes it feel more deliberate than a plain T-shirt without trying too hard to be something formal. Polo T-shirt. It has a short collar, a buttoned placket at the top, and short sleeves with a slightly structured feel. René Lacoste, a French tennis player, designed an early version of it in the 1920s because the stiff shirts worn on court at the time restricted movement and trapped heat. The collar was functional, meant to be turned up against the sun. From tennis courts, it moved to golf courses, then to leisure wear, and eventually into everyday wardrobes around the world. It occupies a space that feels more considered than a plain T-shirt, without requiring the effort of a formal shirt. Oversized T-shirt. It is cut significantly larger than a standard fit, with dropped shoulders, a longer body, and wider sleeves that sit well below where they normally would. The oversized shape has deep roots in hip-hop culture of the 80s and 90s, where loose, comfortable clothing carried both practical comfort and cultural identity. It moved gradually into broader fashion and became widely popular through the 2010s. Wearing something that does not follow the shape of the body can feel deliberately relaxed, and that ease of proportion is a large part of why it has stayed. Longline T-shirt. It shares the same basic shape as a crewneck or V-neck, but extends significantly lower, often reaching mid-thigh or below. The longer hem changes the way an outfit is layered, making it possible to wear under an open shirt or jacket so that it falls below the outer layer. It became particularly visible in streetwear and urban fashion circles in the early 2010s. While men's fashion adopted it for a period, the longline silhouette found a far more natural home in women's wardrobes, where the extended length works effortlessly as a standalone piece, worn over leggings, tucked partially into a skirt, or left to fall loose as a casual dress alternative. The proportions it creates suit the female silhouette in a way that requires very little effort to get right, which is perhaps why it has remained a quiet staple in women's everyday dressing long after its streetwear moment faded. Graphic T-shirt. It is any T-shirt that carries a printed image, illustration, slogan, or artwork on its surface, most commonly on the front. The practice of printing on T-shirts became commercially widespread in the 1950s and grew explosively through the 1960s and 70s as bands, political movements, and brands began using the T-shirt as a surface for communication. A graphic tee can represent a music group, a film, a place visited, a personal belief, or simply a design someone found appealing. More than any other T-shirt type, it functions as a form of self-expression worn on the body. Ringer T-shirt. It is a t-shirt with a contrasting color band around the collar and the sleeve openings, creating a visible border that stands apart from the body of the shirt. The contrast trim was originally a feature of sportswear, designed to add visual definition to athletic uniforms. It became a popular casual style in the 1970s and returned in cycles since then, often associated with a retro or vintage aesthetic. The two-tone construction is simple, but the effect makes it feel more deliberate and visually active than a plain single-color shirt. Cropped T-shirt. It is a T-shirt cut short, ending above the natural waist and sometimes as high as just below the chest. Cropped tops for women became prominent in the 1980s, tied to the aerobics and fitness culture of that decade, and they have returned consistently across different fashion periods since. The cropped length changes the silhouette entirely, making it particularly effective when paired with high-waisted trousers or skirts. What was once considered a garment with specific associations has become a broadly accepted everyday option, worn in a wide range of settings. Performance T-shirt. It is built for physical activity rather than appearance, made from synthetic materials such as polyester or nylon that pull moisture away from the skin and allow the body to regulate temperature during exercise. Unlike cotton, which absorbs sweat and holds it, performance fabric moves it outward so it can evaporate. The technology behind these fabrics developed significantly through the 1990s as athletic brands invested heavily in athletic performance. Today, the performance t-shirt is standard issue in gyms, on running tracks, and across professional sport, though versions of it have also crossed over into casual, everyday wear.